Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. So today we're going to be reviewing ASICS Gel Nimbus version number 25. So in February, this is February 2023, there were a lot of new shoes that came out, and I have avoided the Nimbus in the past because it's a max cushion shoe and I prefer more neutral cushions. So I've tried the Cumulus, which is a more neutral cushion shoe from ASICS versus this Nimbus. I've tried a few more max cushion shoes, the On Cloud Monster for instance, and I actually quite liked it more than I thought I would. So that, coupled with the amount of the major overhaul that they've done, I said, well, let's go ahead and just give this one a shot. So let's jump right into the basics here. This is a neutral running shoe. It's made for road or track running. Again, this is a max cushion shoe, maximum cushioning. It has an 8mm drop, the heel, 8mm higher than the forefoot. I wear a size 12, which weighed in at 12.13 ounces, and that is 344 grams. I found it true to size. I gave it a B for sustainability. It's funny, since I started rating these shoes on sustainability, it's difficult to tell exactly how much sustainable material is in this one. For instance, at least 75% of the main upper material is made from recycled content. So we don't, what actually constitutes the main upper material, not really sure. ASICS also says about their sock liner on the inside here that is being produced with a process that minimizes the amount of water usage of the dyeing process. So, you know, just how much saving sustainability, it's hard to compare one shoe to the other, but at least that they acknowledge it and talk about it is important. So we give it a B for that. And finally, the cost for this one, $160. So this is the 25th version of the Nimbus, which means this shoe's been around a long time. So there's a big group of folks who are big fans of this shoe, and they keep going back to it year after year, and ASICS just keeps on trying to improve it over time. So it's a workhorse shoe. All right, so this is designed for all sorts of runners, beginners to experienced folks, long runners, short runners, not even runners, folks, walkers. Designed really to fit just about everybody. It's also a shoe that's supposed to last for a good while. Now, whenever a company says they've done a radical change, which is what ASICS is saying with this newest version, that always means they've done something with the sole. Often companies on their new versions, they do tweaks to the uppers, some sort of engineered mesh or whatever, and of course they just put out a new version, so we all go buy the new version. But again, for this one, whenever you hear a radical change, it's right down here in the sole. So in particular, ASICS says what they've done is they've updated the Pure Gel technology, as well as the lightweight Flight Foam Blast Plus, or as they put it here, FF Foam Blast Plus, that is designed to deliver extra softness with every step. And so they've amped up the cushioning of this shoe considerably, which was already max cushioned. They've added even more. And one of the other kind of major changes just visually that you'll see is always, whether it was the Cumulus gel or the Nimbus gel, there's always some sort of kind of window somewhere on the sole where you could kind of see that blue gel, or even on the heel. But at these new shoes are encapsulated all within the shoe. Also worth noting, there were really some pretty radical changes here to the top as well. They did this knit upper as well as a knit tongue to provide a more adaptive fit. So that said, let's get right into the fit. What immediately stood out for me when I put this shoe on was just the stack height. I just felt I was standing pretty tall. But that being said, you know, they've engineered the base appropriately, so you still had certainly a nice solid footing and landing pad. For the upper, again, they've gone with this knit upper, which is somewhat stretchy and pliable, and which I thought did a really good job on my foot. I've got narrow feet, and so often when I do it, you know, you can see that it'll pucker up on the top when I wear them. It did not do that for me. That being said, I think this is an accommodating toe box, so if you have a slightly wider foot, I think this may fit you just fine. But as for the heel and ankle collar, this shoe has a feature which I really don't like. I like it when the padding on the ankle collar kind of starts from the bottom and builds up along right up to the top of the ankle collar. This just has one of those padded bands. Hopefully I can bend this so you can see that padded band right in here around, and that band is like a centimeter below the top of the ankle collar here. And so yeah, I mean it's pretty apparent when you look at it from the. So I always feel like I kind of got this little piece that's gripping me a little bit below where most of the ankle collars are, and I don't feel that it gives the impression that it's not quite as stable. Now I don't know if that's going to be the case after, you know, through the 300 miles, which by the way is your prompt to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because I always do these first impressions, but then I always come back and tell you how they held up over 300 miles, so you know just how many miles you can expect to get from each shoe. So for the ride on this one, the first thing I did was, I usually do is dog walk. I did a 17-mile run with it. That was my first one. Then I tried to do a tempo run as well, 7-mile tempo. And the first thing I noticed, certainly with the walk, was just how cushioned the shoe is. In fact, it's far and away the most cushioned shoe I've ever worn. And it also, I would say, it kind of gets, I've always said I don't like squishy shoes. This is slightly squishy, not terrible. When walking the dog, I could feel, I was described as just slightly squishy, but all that being said, I thought I still had a nice little bit of energy return and bounce to it walking the dog. Then I took it on the run. That energy return and bounce was nowhere to be found, whether that was the long, slow run or the fast run. And on the fast run, there's really no responsiveness in this, which, you know, shouldn't be surprised, because I always talk about, look, for any shoe, right, you know, that's always the balance every company tries to do, right? They try and give you more responsiveness and more cushioning, but we know that you know, everybody tries to get that perfect balance, but it's difficult. If you're going to do more cushioning, you're going to lose responsiveness. Vice versa, less cushioning, you should be able to gain the responsiveness. This is max cushioned, so here's the responsiveness. Is just, you're not going to get it from this shoe. But it's not designed necessarily to do that. It's designed to be a workhorse shoe, comfortable shoe that you can get lots of miles out of. So to summarize, this is a big soft shoe designed to give you a nice soft ride, nice easy runs. If you like big cushion shoes, here you go. I'd be very, very interested to hear if you've worn this one in the past, the Gel Nimbus. I would really find it interesting, and I'm sure everybody else who's watching this video would find it interesting to feel what your thoughts are and your impressions of how this compares to previous versions of the Nimbus. I see myself just using this one for, you know, logging easy miles. I'll take it on a few more tempo runs just see if things can change up over time, but we'll see. And again, that because I'll do the 300-mile review. So once again, if you want to subscribe to that, I'm about to do the 300-mile review on the other ASICS Nova Blast 3 shoe, as well as the Saucony's Endorphin Speed 3. I've got both of those are right at 300 miles. Otherwise, got other state races that we'll be posting. We're going to do a summary of how we've done a third of the country so far with our state races. So we're going to be kind of doing a summary of kind of the top 3 in several categories of the different races. You know, best, most scenic races, kind of best cities, some of the best eats. So it should be interesting. It's going to be fun to do that one. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and then get out there and just keep racing the nation.